Hold on to your toques, America, because things just got a whole lot more interesting in the great electricity trade war of 2025. Ontario, the powerhouse province that's been generously keeping your lights on, just hit the up arrow on their export tax. We're talking a whopping 25% increase, folks. And why, you ask? Well, let's just say it's a direct response to a certain someone south of the border who seems to have a penchant for starting trade spats. Remember those tariffs President Trump slapped on Canadian goods? Yeah, this is Canada saying, oh, it's on like Donkey Kong. Starting March 10th, 2025, over 1.5 million American homes and businesses, mostly in Minnesota, New York, and Michigan, will start feeling the pinch in their power bills. That's right, the cost of keeping your fridge cold and your phone charged just went up, all thanks to a trade war that nobody asked for. It's enough to make you want to unplug everything and live off the grid. But hold on, there's more. Ontario Premier Doug Ford, the man with his finger on the electricity export button, isn't messing around. He's made it crystal clear that this 25% hike is just the tip of the iceberg. If Trump doesn't back down from his tariff tirade, Ford's ready to go full blackout and shut off the electricity supply completely. Now let's talk about the real victims in this trade war tango: ordinary Americans. The folks in Minnesota, Michigan, and New York who are just trying to get by are the ones caught in the crossfire. Sure, a few extra bucks on the electricity bill might not sound like much, but for families struggling to make ends meet, it's a punch in the gut. And for businesses already grappling with rising costs, it's another nail in the coffin. Minnesota, despite only getting a relatively small amount of juice from Ontario, is feeling the heat. Governor Tim Walz, never one to mince words, called out Trump's tariffs, saying they're hurting Minnesotans and creating uncertainty in the agricultural sector. Michigan, on the other hand, is worried about more than just higher prices. They're concerned about the reliability of their power grid, especially during those scorching summer months when everyone's cranking up the AC. And in the Big Apple, Governor Kathy Hochul is fuming, demanding answers and transparency about the impact on New Yorkers' wallets. It's a classic case of unintended consequences, where the very people Trump claims to be protecting are the ones bearing the brunt of his policies. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Well-intentioned perhaps, but utterly disastrous in its execution. Doug Ford, the man in charge of Ontario's electrical grid, is caught between a rock and a hard place. On one hand, he's got Trump breathing down his neck, slapping tariffs on Canadian goods left and right. On the other hand, he's got millions of Ontarians looking to him to stand up for their interests. It's a delicate balancing act, and Ford's walking a tightrope without a safety net. He's made it clear that he doesn't want to punish American consumers. In fact, he's gone out of his way to express sympathy for the folks who are going to be hit by these higher electricity prices. But he's also made it abundantly clear that he's not going to let Trump bully Canada into submission. He's willing to play hardball, even if it means risking a full-blown trade war. The big question is, what's next? Will Ford follow through on his threat to cut off electricity exports entirely, or will cooler heads prevail and a negotiated settlement will be reached? One thing's for sure, this high-stakes game of chicken is far from over. The trade war, a term that's become all too familiar in recent years, is a lose-lose situation for everyone involved. It's a race to the bottom, where everyone ends up worse off than they were before. Consumers pay higher prices, businesses suffer from reduced demand and increased costs, and the global economy takes a hit. Trump's decision to impose tariffs on Canadian goods, ostensibly to protect American jobs, has backfired spectacularly. It's led to retaliation from Canada, Mexico, and China, throwing global trade into disarray. The stock market, that fickle beast, has been on a roller coaster ride, reflecting the uncertainty and anxiety that permeates the business world. The irony of it all is that the very jobs Trump claims to be protecting are the ones being put at risk by his policies. The tariffs are hurting American businesses that rely on Canadian imports, forcing them to raise prices or lay off workers. It's a self-inflicted wound that's only going to get worse if cooler heads don't prevail. Thank you for watching our channel, and please subscribe to see more news.